Let's begin chapter 5. So this is chapter 5, section 1. We'll talk about perimeter and area. So to find perimeter, that's just adding the lengths of all the sides of a polygon. So you add up all the sides. Area, and these are the only two we're going to deal with area, is rectangles and triangles. And I will not make you memorize these two. I'll provide them, but I think you should memorize them all the same. So the rectangle is equal to the length of the rectangle times the width of the rectangle. That's simple. Triangle is half times base times height. You've probably done this before, so hopefully this is just a good time to review. Now, perimeter, I do want to give you the formulas for these two shapes. There will be other shapes in these notes other than rectangle and triangle, and in those cases, we'll just need to remember this. Add all the lengths of the sides. But for a rectangle, the perimeter is 2L plus 2W. I'll also provide this formula when a quiz or test comes. For a triangle, the perimeter is A plus B plus C. So we'll use that in some of these down here. So first we must find the perimeter. So that's all the sides, adding up all the sides. We're given a rectangle first, so we can use the formula 2L plus 2W. So our perimeter is 2 times 24 plus 2 times 10. So I just plug the length in right here and the width in right here. And just, it really doesn't matter which one you call the length or the width. Just got to plug them in. So 2 times 24 is 48. 2 times 10 is 20. 48 plus 20 is 68. And at 68 inches, we do want to make sure we put units on these. And I will allow calculators for this. Okay, for the triangle, we need to add all of the sides. So the perimeter is A plus B plus C. And again, it doesn't matter which one you call A, B, or C. But I will tend to call the longest side the C, but it doesn't really matter. So we'll just add 12 plus 5 plus 13. 5 plus 12 is 17. And 17 plus 13 is 30. And it's in feet, so it'll be 30 feet. Okay, now here's a different shape. It says a regular hexagon, and the word regular is what makes it mean all the sides are the same lengths. So what would be easier on this one, you can just add 3.2 plus 3.2 plus 3.2 plus 3.2 plus 3.2 plus 3.2. But I know how boring that was for me to even say, so I'm sure it was boring to listen to, and it'd be a long time to write all that. So it'd be easier to just count, or you might know because the name hexagon. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. And since they're all equal, I can just do 6 times 3.2 and get a perimeter of 19.2 feet. Okay, next up, we're dealing with area now. So the formula for the area of a rectangle is length times width. So I'll plug in the length, which is 4, the width, which is 1.6. Multiply 4 times 1.6, and I get 6.4 centimeters squared. So remember, we have to put squared with our units when we're doing area. And the reason is, we actually just multiplied 4 centimeters times 1.6 centimeters. So centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared. So with perimeter, no exponent. With area, they have to be squared. Okay, for this one, area formula for a rectangle is half times base times height. So our base, you can just think of it as the bottom, that's the 4 meters. Our height, that's how far you go up and down, that's the 3 meters. So half of 4 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6, so it'll be 6 meters squared. Same formula over here. Now you have to be careful that you recognize which piece is which. The base, like I said, you can think of as the bottom. So put a 5 right there. The height is the distance from the bottom to the top. They will always form a right angle. That's what that little sign means. I think you know that already. But that means that's a right angle. If you look back here, they didn't get it in a good spot, but it should be more like this. But the height and the base will always have a right angle with each other. So that means that 3.2 is my height. Half of 5 is 2.5. And 2.5 times 3.2 turns out, believe it or not, to be a whole number. It's 8 square feet. So hopefully that all seems very basic, very straightforward. And we're going to go a little deeper on the back. We've already talked about what's in the top here. Perimeter, we can do P equals 2L plus 2W. You don't have to rewrite that unless you want to. And the formula for the area is L times W. But now let's use that to solve these word problems. So Clarence needs to glue a string around the border of his rectangular piece of artwork. If his artwork is 13 inches by 18 inches, how much string will he need? So my recommendation every time is if they don't give you a picture of the shape, draw one. So it says a rectangle. Doesn't matter if it's drawn the right proportions or anything, just draw a rectangle. It's 13 inches by 18 inches. So I can use, if I'm putting a string around it, so string all the way around it. We're not curling the string, I'm just trying to make it look like it has texture. So we do the perimeter, because the perimeter of the rectangle is how much string we'll need to cover the outside of it. So we'll do 2 times 18 plus 2 times 13. 2 times 18 is 36. 2 times 13 is 26. Add those together and you get 62 inches. So you will need 62 inches of string to be able to put a border around this artwork. Okay, Kendra needs to put a border along the width of a rectangular sign. So notice we're just putting it around the width. The perimeter of her sign is 9 feet and the height of her sign is 2.5 feet. How wide is her sign? Okay, so I've got another rectangle. They're telling us the perimeter is 9 feet. The height of her sign, so I'll put that over here, is 2.5 feet. What we don't know is its width. But we do know the perimeter is equal to 2L plus 2W. So I wrote down what we know. The perimeter is 9 feet, so I can plug that 9 feet in there. We know the length, 2.5 feet. We can plug that in there. We don't know the width, so we just leave that as 2W. So 2 times 2.5 is 5. Subtract 5 from both sides. We get 4 equals 2W. And we divide both sides by 2. So we get that the width is 2 feet. Richard is creating a rectangular garden that has a length of 18 feet. Boom, 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 boom. 18 feet. Its area is 81 square feet. He needs that area to accommodate all of his plants. So, how wide does he need his garden to be? we'll need to use the area formula for this one, which we know is length times width. They told us the area, so we can plug in the 81 for the area, the A. The length is 18, and we don't know the width. So to figure that out, we will divide both sides by 18, and we'll get that the width is 4.5 feet. Don't forget to put those units on. I know we started with area. The area does have square feet, but the width is a length, so it doesn't have squared, it's just feet. Okay, formula for area of a triangle. You already know that. Half times base times height. Now what they wanted to show you here, which I think is pretty cool, is how they came up with the area for a triangle. It turns out any triangle you draw can be made into a quadrilateral, or a four-sided figure. Now they're using a simple one where it turns into a rectangle. There are other quadrilaterals with the formula for any of them you make is just base times height. So if the area of this is base times height, but then I use a line to cut that area in half, then the triangle I create has an area of half times the base times the height. So on number 4, notice they gave us the area this time, but we need to find the height. So we'll plug in the formula. Area is 48, so I plug that in for A. The base is 20. The height, I don't know, that's what I gotta find. Half of 20 is 10. We divide both sides by 10, and we find that the height is 4.8 inches. So we can work backwards with these. Number 5, we'll do something similar. They tell us the area. They don't tell us the base, but they do tell us the height. That's what this dotted line is over here, because it still forms a right angle with the base. So area equals half times base times height. I'll plug in 1.8 for the area. Don't know the base, but the height is 1.2. Half of 1.2 is 0.6. And since it's 0.6 times b, I need to divide by 0.6. And I end up with 3 centimeters for the base.